Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the like. This video could change the way you experience love forever. Right now, I want you to imagine something. A room full of women, all over 60, each with their own experiences, heartbreaks and desires. And you, yes you, standing there, watching them notice you in a way that makes their hearts race, that makes them think, I could spend the rest of my life with him. Sounds unbelievable, yet this is exactly what I'm going to teach you today, the secret that almost no one talks about. Here's the truth most men never realize. After a certain age, women stop chasing frivolous excitement. They've been through the games, the heartache, the shallow promises. What they crave is something rare, something almost sacred, a man who embodies strength without arrogance, security without suffocation, and emotional depth that doesn't scare them away but draws them closer. This isn't about money, status, or even looks. It's about mastery over one subtle, powerful aspect of yourself that signals reliability, intimacy, and magnetic confidence simultaneously. Now you may be thinking, but I'm not that man. I'm older, I've made mistakes, I've missed chances. Let me stop you right there. Every man has the power to step into this persona. In fact, the older you are, the more potent this power becomes, because life has already taught you lessons most men will never understand. Women can feel the difference between a man who has endured and learned, and a man who is merely pretending. This is psychological, this is primal, this is what triggers desire that is deeper, more authentic, and yes, more urgent. And here's the kicker, very few men ever figure this out. Most spend decades believing that youth, charm, or a flashy lifestyle are enough. Meanwhile, women over 60 are quietly observing, silently evaluating, and waiting for a man who radiates one unmistakable truth. He is capable of loving in a way that isn't desperate, but absolutely devoted. When you understand this, when you embody it, you don't chase women, they chase you. They beg to marry you, to anchor their lives with yours, because you have tapped into something so rare, so transformative. It's almost unfair. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that something is, why it works, and how to integrate it into your life immediately. But first, you need to understand the psychological foundation that makes women over 60 not just interested, but irresistibly drawn to a man who knows this secret. Let's get brutally honest for a moment. Most men never see it coming. They think love after 60 is slow, cautious, tentative. They assume women at this age are done with romance, that it's too late to ignite passion. That's where almost every man fails before he even begins. The truth is the opposite. Women over 60 are extremely selective, yes, but once they find the man who awakens the right feelings, their desire is intense, almost desperate. And it's not superficial. It comes from recognition, from sensing that a man understands something fundamental about life, love, and commitment that others cannot. You see, desire in women this age is less about infatuation and more about safety fused with intensity. They're scanning every interaction, every word, every subtle gesture. They're asking themselves silently, is he someone I can trust with my heart, my future, my quiet nights, and my loud dreams? If you trigger that question in the right way, if you embody that truth, you bypass superficial attraction and go straight to the core of what makes women crave a lasting bond. Here's what most men miss. It's not about overwhelming her with attention or grand gestures. It's about restraint, patience, and demonstrating value through action, not words. Women at this stage of life are incredibly sensitive to inconsistency. If you promise and don't deliver, if your presence is unreliable, she'll pull away and never forgive the disruption. But if you quietly, steadily, almost effortlessly communicate that you are grounded, confident, and capable of profound connection, you ignite something that can feel almost magnetic. She doesn't even realize she's waiting for you to step into this role until you do. And let me be clear, this isn't manipulation. This isn't playing games. It's mastery over yourself and over the way you express your worth. It's the difference between being another man she meets at a party and being the man she secretly imagines walking beside her for the next decade. The kind of man who makes her think, finally, someone who gets me, someone who makes me feel alive again. By now, you're probably feeling that mix of excitement and skepticism. Good. That's exactly where transformation begins. The desire to act is born in tension, in that uncomfortable space where you realize that most men fail, and that with just a few shifts, you can step into a place almost no one else can reach. The women who see this in you won't just notice, they will gravitate toward it, and eventually they will beg for what they once thought they could never hope for, a lasting, devoted, passionate partnership. Now let's talk about the unspoken language of attraction, what women over 60 are silently scanning for, but most men are completely blind to. This isn't about lifting more weights or having a bigger bank account. This is about presence, subtlety, and a confidence so quiet it almost feels like gravity. Women at this age can sense it immediately. They notice how you carry yourself in a room, how you listen, how your gaze lingers just long enough to make them feel seen. This is the difference between a man they admire and a man they crave. There's a critical truth few men grasp. Desire in women over 60 is triggered more by emotional security than physical chemistry. They're looking for someone who can provide a sanctuary for their mind and heart. You want her to feel, even subconsciously, that in your presence she can lower her guard completely, and that you will honor it. This is magnetic. This is what makes them think about you late at night, what makes them imagine mornings and quiet conversations that stretch into eternity. The men who fail are either too needy or too absent. They don't understand the balance of attention and space. You must master both. Here's how it works. Consistency communicates reliability. Humor communicates comfort. Calm authority communicates protection. Each of these subtle behaviors triggers deep, primal responses. When she sees that you are steady, unshakable, and yet emotionally available, her brain releases signals she can't control. She doesn't just like you. Her body and mind start aligning around the idea of you being her future. And when combined with subtle charm and intelligence, this creates a magnetic pull she can't resist. The second secret is patience. Women this age have lived through disappointment. If you rush her or demand commitment, you will trigger resistance. But when you move deliberately, respecting her pace while maintaining your standards, she begins to crave your presence, almost obsessively. She will wonder why she didn't meet you sooner. She will imagine a life where you are the center, the calm, the passion. And if you integrate this with quiet demonstrations of competence, solving problems, showing initiative, offering guidance, she begins to see you not just as a man she desires, but as the man she can rely on to anchor her life. This is where most men give up, thinking it's too complicated, or that women at this age are set in their ways. They're not. They are finely tuned to authenticity. And when you become the version of yourself that embodies emotional strength, consistency, and calm charisma, women over 60 aren't just interested. They become intensely invested. They begin to imagine you not just as a companion, but as someone who could define the rest of their life. Now here's the part most men completely miss. The behavioral tweak that transforms mere interest into a burning, almost desperate desire for commitment. It's subtle, almost invisible if done correctly, yet it triggers something primal in women over 60. The perception that you are both irreplaceable and unattainable. Let me explain why this works and how to embody it without ever seeming manipulative. Women at this stage of life are drawn to men who have cultivated depth, stability, and a sense of inner purpose. But here's the key. It's not enough to have these qualities. You must communicate them effortlessly, in every interaction, in every glance, in every word that leaves your lips. This creates tension, the most potent psychological trigger there is. Tension, not neediness, is what makes her think, I have to make him mine before someone else does. You become the prize she doesn't want to lose, the man who feels like a rare, irreplaceable gift. This works because of something called scarcity psychology. When women sense that your attention and affection are not guaranteed, their mind begins to chase the possibility of a future with you. But here's the nuance. You cannot be cold, detached, or arrogant. That destroys desire. Instead, you balance approachability with selectivity. You show warmth and attentiveness, but only in ways that reinforce your emotional stability and self-respect. You're available, but not desperate. present but not clingy. This combination creates an invisible gravitational pull that few men ever learn to master. Another layer is intentional communication. Every word, every story you share, every subtle display of competence or humor reinforces the narrative that you are the kind of man who can hold a woman's heart without breaking it. Women over 60 are highly attuned to this. They can sense when a man's life is well-ordered, purposeful, and deeply anchored in principles. It triggers admiration, desire, and eventually the urge to anchor their life to yours through marriage. And here's what's fascinating. Once she senses this, she begins to project her own fantasies of stability and partnership onto you. She imagines quiet mornings, shared adventures, late-night conversations where everything is understood without words. She imagines a man who is steady enough to face life's challenges, but emotionally rich enough to make every moment feel alive. By the time she realizes it consciously, she's already emotionally committed. She begins to beg for the bond without you ever asking. Now, let's talk about amplification, the way small, intentional actions can make a woman over 60 not just attracted to you, but emotionally reliant on the idea of being with you. This is where most men fail. They focus on grand gestures, expensive gifts, or empty flattery. None of that creates deep, irresistible desire. What truly works is consistency, emotional precision, and the ability to make her feel both understood and intrigued simultaneously. Every interaction is a chance to reinforce the narrative you've built. When you listen deeply, when you remember details about her life, her stories, her fears, you communicate that she matters in a way that almost no one else does. Women over 60 have become experts at spotting inauthenticity. They know when a man is simply performing. But when your attention is precise, intentional, and subtle, it triggers feelings of safety, respect, and admiration, all mixed with a hint of anticipation. That anticipation is the emotional rocket fuel that makes her crave your presence, your commitment, your touch. Equally important is demonstrating independence. She needs to see that your life is rich, full, and purposeful without her, not in arrogance, but in quiet confidence. A man who has hobbies, goals, and friendships that don't revolve around women communicates that he is high value, balanced, and emotionally self-sufficient. This isn't just attractive, it's essential, because women at this age are not looking for a project or someone to fix. They are looking for a man who can share life with them on equal footing, someone strong enough to lead, yet soft enough to love. Timing and subtlety amplify everything. A text sent too frequently, a call too eager, or a compliment without context can destroy the delicate gravitational pull you've built. But the right message at the right time, delivered with calm assurance, reinforces desire. She starts anticipating your presence, your words, and your actions. She begins to weave you into her mental picture of the future. And this is exactly when the emotional pivot happens. She moves from admiration to longing, from curiosity to active desire, from wondering about you to needing you. Finally, mindset underpins everything. You must approach love after 60 as a game of depth, patience, and subtle influence. Your goal is not to chase. It is to embody the kind of man who naturally draws women toward him, whose presence alone creates an emotional dependency strong enough to lead to marriage. Once you integrate these principles into your daily interactions, you will notice the shift. She isn't just interested, she is compelled. She begins to imagine a life anchored by you, and the more effortless your presence, the stronger that pull becomes. Now, we reach the final truth, the almost shocking element that transforms attraction into urgent, undeniable commitment. It's the difference between her liking you and her needing you in her life, imagining mornings and nights without you as incomplete. This secret is deceptively simple, yet few men ever grasp it. It's the combination of emotional availability with strategic inaccessibility. Women over 60 have lived long enough to see patterns, to recognize men who are always there but ultimately unremarkable, and men who vanish under pressure. The key is to become the kind of man who is profoundly present when it matters, but who never loses his own balance, never becomes predictable, never acts out of fear or desperation. This paradox creates tension that is almost magnetic. She begins to crave your presence because it isn't guaranteed, and every interaction carries weight. Every smile, every touch, every word becomes meaningful. Here's how it manifests. You demonstrate that your life is abundant, your priorities are set, and your attention is selective. But you give her access to your world in ways that feel personal, special, and irreplaceable. This duality, availability coupled with self-possession, signals something primal in her brain. This man is rare, he is valuable, he is a once-in-a-lifetime connection. And when women sense this, their desire escalates rapidly. She begins to fantasize about commitment, about marriage, not as a goal imposed on her, but as a natural, inevitable outcome. You reinforce this by creating moments of emotional intimacy that are deep but measured. Share your insights, your vulnerability, your vision for life, but never overexpose. Keep her curious, keep her engaged, keep her emotionally invested. This combination triggers what psychologists call attachment anticipation. She starts thinking about how life would feel, anchored by your presence, how secure, fulfilled, and alive she could be. She doesn't just want you, she imagines herself dependent on you emotionally, ready to make the commitment because it feels like survival for her happiness. Finally, remember this: the older a woman is, the more she recognizes authenticity versus performance. When you embody emotional strength, calm confidence, subtle charm, and disciplined inaccessibility, she won't just love you. She will begin to envision a future that includes you in every essential detail. She will feel compelled, almost against her own conscious control, to make you a permanent part of her life. She will beg for what you represent, love that is steady, passionate, and profoundly transformative. And that, my friend, is how a man after 60 becomes irresistible, unforgettable, and essential.